Hello, and thank you for attending this webinar. So let's wait a minute for everyone to join. While we are waiting for everyone to join, can you tell me actually where are you joining this webinar from? I'm calling in from Zagreb, from Croatia, and how about you? Just send me a message just to get a feeling on how wide is this webinar heard. So this would be interesting. Okay, in any case, a couple of information while we're waiting for other people to join. First of all, we are recording this webinar, so you can you'll be able to watch the webinar from actually the same page where you're registered for this webinar if you're joining through LinkedIn or YouTube. So basically, if you want to watch the recording, simply go to the same page and you will actually see this recording. If you joined this webinar through Advisera's website, then you will receive an email from us, and in this email you will receive also the link to the recording of the webinar. You'll be able to download the presentation deck from this webinar today, and after the webinar I'll show you actually how to do this. I'll actually, at the end of the webinar, I'll tell you where to find this a link to download this presentation deck so that you can actually have it for yourself. Okay, very well. So yeah, let's start with the webinar. So welcome to the webinar, how to sell ISO consulting services. So my name is Dejan Kosutic and I'm the CEO at Advisera, and Advisera is a company that makes compliance easy to understand and simple to use. This webinar today is streamed through 3 platforms. So through Zoom, this is for attendees who signed up through Advisera website, and also through LinkedIn live events and YouTube live. And the webinar will last approximately 45 to 50 minutes, and I'll try to make it as interactive as possible so that you can ask questions about anything that you're interested in, and feel free to ask any questions even before we start with the Q&A session. Of course, I'll have the Q&A session at the end of the webinar where I'll explain all of the remaining, I'll give answers to all of the remaining questions. Okay, good. Now let's go to the next slide, and this is really why this topic about how to sell important. Well, I mean, it's important for a very simple reason, and this is if you do not sell your services as an ISO consultant, you're not going to survive. As easy it is. It's I would say a dream that never comes true, that that clients will keep coming to you with no matter what, because you are simply the best consultant. It's this is not happening. So if you're not actively selling, if you're not actively promoting your services, you're not going to have almost any clients, and this is how it is. And this is basically why you have to learn how these things are done. So in today's webinar, I'll focus on promoting, on various techniques to promote a consultancy business. I'll present first a little bit more traditional approach to, let's say, selling, and then a little bit more, let's say, newer approach to selling consulting services. So basically, these are all the things that I'll cover in the webinar today. Okay, good. Now, so of course the webinar today is intended for basically for smaller and let's say mid-sized consultancies, and I'll present these topics from the perspective of, let's say, completely new consultants, beginners, but also from the perspective of more experienced consultants who are, let's say, looking for some other let's say methods or ways to sell their services. Good. One of the main points today is really that basically if you have, let's say, 2 types of consultants that are skilled in sales and marketing, and consultants that are more skilled in ISO standards but not so much in sales and marketing, guess what? Who is going to have more business? Unfortunately, the first group, so the consultants that are more skilled in sales and marketing, are going to have more business, because unfortunately, again, the same story that I explained, if you don't know how to sell, you're not going to have clients. And you might have even mediocre knowledge in ISO standards and let's say methodology for implementation, but if you excel at selling, you're still going to be more successful than, let's say, the best ISO consultant who doesn't know really how to sell. Unfortunately, this is how it is. I would like it to be different, but this is simply the ways the things are. Okay, now let's see the agenda for today. So first I'll start with defining your focus, which I think is extremely important for a successful consultancy. Then I'll go through these sales methods. Then I'll go through internet marketing, so a little bit more, let's say, advanced approach on how to do it. I'll go briefly through developing this elevator speech, which is pretty important, and then how to determine the pricing. I'll show you how this Advisera's program for consultants, how does it work, and how can Advisera help you with finding new clients. And finally, I'll go through the Q&A at the end. Okay, very well. Now, let's first start with this defining the focus. Now, why is defining the focus important in the first place? Because the point is that if you're a consultant, you have to differentiate. You need to have something specific that tells you apart from other competitors. Because if you offer everything the same as other competitors, then why would customers purchase from you and not from someone else, right? So it's very, very important that you actually differentiate so that you have something specific that almost no one else has, or that not many other people have. And this is, I would say, this is the first step actually for you becoming successful in sales. So again, this has nothing to do with the sales techniques. It simply has to do with basically what is it that you are selling. Okay, it needs to be differentiated, otherwise you're not going to succeed. So what are the steps here? First of all, you have to start from your previous experience. So you can't really focus on something where you don't have an experience with. So this is where you actually have to start from your previous job, where you, I don't know, if you were where you were working previously in your career, and then you have to find a market niche which would be specific for this. This would be, let's say, appropriate for your experience that you had before. And then you have to develop this specialized service, and then you can actually start with sales and marketing. So, for example, let's say that that you previously worked as, let's say, an engineer in the automotive industry. Okay, so this is your previous experience. Then your market niche could be, let's say, that you specialize in ISO 9001 specifically for automotive industry, or you can even specify, you can even specialize in this IATF 6949 standard, which is specific for automotive industry, and then you can develop this specialized service. You can say that you are, let's say, focusing only on, for example, implementing the standards, or you might say that you are focusing only on internal audits, or maybe second-party audits, which are also very important in automotive industry. So, the more you specialize, the higher the chance will be that you are going to be recognized as someone who your clients will want to work with. And then you can actually start with the sales and marketing activities. If you say, okay, I'm specialized as, let's say, in the auto industry, for 9001 6949 for, let's say, second party audits, and then you start actually selling whatever this particular service. You will find it much easier to find clients rather than saying I'm 9001 consultant. Okay, you're 9001 consultant, so what? Okay, now I can tell you how I started in consulting career. This was almost 20 years ago. Well, yeah, actually 20 years ago, so 2005. And at that time, ISO 27001 was kind of a new thing. My background previously was from banking, and then basically I used this experience in banking and started offering my cybersecurity compliance services towards banks, because at that time banks in my home country started getting these very strict cybersecurity regulations, and this is basically the specialized service I offer them. I offer them this kind of adapted version of ISO 27001 that would help banks become compliant with their cybersecurity regulations. And then, of course, I started selling this kind of a specific service. So I would say that this kind of focus is crucial for actually you becoming a successful consultant. Okay, now the next slides are what kind of sales methods you can use. And when I say sales methods, it's I would say in majority you will see that these things are kind of a traditional way of selling services. So probably nothing new, just as a kind of a reminder of what you can do. Okay, you can use contacts from your previous position. So if you worked let's say in this automotive industry, then you probably do know already a couple of let's say manufacturers of car I don't know, parts and all of these things, and then you can start offering them these kind of services. Of course, direct sales is very important, where you have to actually start selling face to face through the telephone and so on. This is still something that that is very important. You cannot if you are selling these consulting services, this is still something that you have to use. You can also speak at the conferences. This is a very useful thing, because when you pick a topic and then speak about it for 15 or 30 minutes at a conference, this is how people start hearing about you and start recognizing you as someone who is knowledgeable. Okay, and basically this is how you get in touch with many people that you wouldn't be able to reach before, and you can simply take a look at all the conferences that are planned in the next 6 months that are related to your specific niche market. Again, this niche market is important here, and then you can simply contact the organizers and offer your presentation. Now, of course, the presentation itself again has to be specific. Again, if you are generalist, then they will not allow you to speak at a conference. You need to have some specific topic that you will present. For example, if you are, I don't know, second party auditor, then you would be able to present your new techniques for, let's say, doing the second party audits in industry XYZ. Okay, so again, everything goes from this specialization and focus. You can also deliver courses. Typically these certification bodies usually also have their training courses, okay, for ISO 27001, this would be internal auditor course, lead auditor course, lead implementer course, and typically they do not have their internal trainers, instructors for this purpose. Typically they hire someone, consultant, to actually deliver these kind of courses, and this is also a great way to present yourself to a group of people, because if the course takes, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 days, you actually have 3 or 4 or 5 days to present your expertise to these students. And even though you're not pitching your consultancy, of course they will start asking you questions and asking if you can help them with various problems that they have. You can also find out where the demand is generated. What do I mean by this? You should actually, because as you know, most of the companies go for certification because their main customers, their main clients are telling them that they need to do this, right? So if you know which companies in your industry are basically asking their suppliers for becoming compliant, then you can actually go directly to these companies that have many of such suppliers and try to make a deal with them. Especially if you are, if you have again some specific niche, specific skill, then you can basically say, look, I can help your suppliers become compliant quickly, and therefore you as a buyer will have less problems with them. Okay, so if you make a deal with them, you can also get some clients. And of course, you can develop some partnerships with certain companies, which will then help you promote your consultancy as well. And I'll speak about these partnerships in one of the later slides when I present how Advisera actually can help you with finding new clients. Okay, anyway, so these are basically traditional way of reaching clients. Now, let me present you a little bit, let's say, more advanced way of finding clients that is not so traditional, it's more internet-based. And by the way, LinkedIn is very important channel here. And actually, let me show you a poll that I posted a week ago on LinkedIn. And here you can see the poll question is, as an ISO or cybersecurity consultant, what is the best channel to find a client? So phone, cold calling, only 16%. Now LinkedIn, 50%, right? Advertising, 13%, and other would be 20%. So the point here is that obviously LinkedIn is very, very important channel for finding new clients. And of course, I'll give you a couple of tips now on how to achieve this. So let me actually start with my profile, and just to give you an idea on how I'm doing the promotion through LinkedIn of Advisera. As you can see, okay, you can see I have almost 30,000 followers here. And what is the the most important thing is really this post that you're publishing. So in my case, I'm publishing, let's say, something like 2 posts a day, and I'm trying to post the most interesting materials from Advisera. So for example, you can see that here, I posted about risk management tool for assessing, assets and so on. And then I posted some short video here, and then I posted some, popular article about 27001 and so on. So if I go here and show all posts, you will see that there are various types of materials, and basically these materials are then all directing clients, or mostly directing clients towards our website. And this works especially if you have lots of materials on your own that you developed and that you have your own website where you have these, let's say, articles, blog posts, white papers, these kind of things. And this is specifically what Advisera has a lot. Now, I'll also show you, and here under the featured, you see that, I also posted the most popular download, then we have this diagram of GDPR and ISO 27001 integrated implementation, checklist of cyber threats and safeguards. If I scroll further, then there is some video, there is also this free download, comprehensive guide for DORA regulation, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, there are many of these posts. All of them are actually going towards Advisera website. Now, there is a different approach, and it's also very interesting. I'll show you this. This guy, he's called Andrej Prozorov. He's from Finland. Now, what he does is a different approach. So he doesn't have so much materials on his own. He does have some. But when you actually scroll down and take a look at what he's posting, it's best actually if I go here, show all posts. Now, by the way, he's an ISO 27001 cybersecurity consultant, so he has consultancy on his own. But what he does, he actually posts third-party materials. Like, for example, here he posted our white paper for risk management. Here he posted, AI impact assessment from Ministry of Infrastructure. I'm not sure which country this is. Then he posted something, from DORA assessment work from 𝗵𝗲𝗶𝘀 and so on. So basically what he does, he posts third-party materials, and this is how actually he gets lots of followers. And then every now and then he also posts his own material, right? So going back to his main page, his main profile, you can see that then he actually emphasizes these are his own materials, and then he gets quite a lot of traction there. Because he has already lots of followers. Let's actually see how many does he have, right? 41,000, okay? He's much better than me. Anyway, the point is that his this logic of his, of posting these attractive third-party materials about cybersecurity, builds his own image, his own, let's say, trustability and then once he posts his materials, then he gets much higher traction. So a very good strategy to follow. So I would say when it comes to LinkedIn, these are basically the best strategies really for you to take. Of course, what I'm not showing here are direct messages which you have to exchange with direct interested clients, potential clients, who might be interested in your services. It's very important that you read these direct messages, that you're not kind of neglecting them for a week or two, because of course then the leads will become very cold. So you have to answer your direct messages in LinkedIn on a daily basis. Good. So LinkedIn is definitely one channel. Second channel is YouTube. Now I know that YouTube is very often perceived as something that is not very business-like, something that is, I don't know, hard to do, blah, 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 but it's not true anymore. So nowadays, what you can do with LinkedIn, what you can do with YouTube is you can actually do a very serious marketing for, whatever you have. And when you think about it, whatever you are buying on the internet, almost always you will find on YouTube an appropriate video which follows this kind of product or service. So I'm going to show you how I'm doing this for YouTube. And basically I reactivated my YouTube profile about a year ago, and I started posting lots of videos. So let me switch again to here. So this is basically how my YouTube profile looks like now. So you can see almost 10,000 subscribers, about 400 plus videos. And what I'm doing is I'm publishing videos at least 2, even 3 times a week. Out of those, at least one is related to this webinar. So we deliver all of these webinars also through we stream these webinars also through YouTube. So this is usually one of these videos that are published weekly. But also on top of this, I publish various tutorials and other videos on YouTube. So for example, I'll show you now. So here you can see, various ISO 27001 tutorials, and there are something like, I don't know, 20 or so of them. So basically I explain every aspect of ISO 27001. Now, how is this useful for our business? Because, whenever you watch these videos, for example, I don't know, steps towards a successful ISO 27001 implementation, then of course you mention your products or services that you are also selling. So on one hand, you are, let's say, educating people about ISO 27001 or whatever standard you're covering, but on the other hand, you're also telling them how you can actually help them with this particular problem or standard. So 27,000 tutorials are one type of videos. Then I have NIS2 tutorials. So NIS2 is this cybersecurity directive in Europe. And then I have, again, series of videos on all aspects or most important aspects about NIS2. And then there is a special series of videos which presents 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏 ISO 27000 software. So this is basically our software which helps clients and consultants work with the standard to automate the things. And then there is a series of 5 videos which explains all the most important aspects of this 𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗏 software. So again, a lot of people are keen to see this kind of details before they actually decide to use this or not. And then there is this series of videos which explain what kind of training exists for ISO 27001. So what are the most popular courses, then the foundation training, internal auditor training, lead auditor, lead implementer training. So these videos are around what, 10 minutes or so, okay, between 5 and 10 minutes. So it's not the whole training in a video, it's only what to expect from such a training. And again, I'm providing value in these videos because I'm explaining how does this look like, what to expect, but I also show how these trainings are Advisera's trainings are structured, and therefore I also promote Advisera's products, right? So you always try to connect this providing real value, educational value towards the viewers, but also on the other hand, packing in some products or services in a way that is not too much intruding, but that you actually present how this is valuable for the viewers. And then there is a series of videos about NIS2 documentation. So I show, you know, various templates that you can use for NIS2. Then I show some free cybersecurity compliance tools and upcoming live streams. As you can see, the next one is this actually that you are seeing here. So point being here is that you know, you can create a series of videos on whatever you come up with and you know, start presenting yourself in this way. And you know, there is now the whole philosophy, you know, how to shoot the videos, how to edit them, and so on. But what I've learned in these last 12 months is that it's much actually easier than you think it is, right? It might seem difficult, but not really. So really, this webinar today is not about creating a YouTube video, but I'm just opening your eyes on what you could do. And later on, you can actually use this YouTube advertising for promoting your videos. And then, you know, because in the beginning there will be not many visitors to your YouTube profile, but you know, once you start promoting these videos, then actually you will get traction and gain more visitors, viewers. Okay, good. Now another way to promote your services is that by the way, I see a question from Ronald. Are there any agreements needed to use third-party material? Typically, you do ask for permission. I was displaying this Andrei Prozorov. He did ask, of course, us for permission, and we said yes, fine, you know, go on. And this is something that you know, he's using since. By the way, I didn't mention, if you want to use Advisera's materials and you know, promote them and basically post them on your profile, you know, just get in touch with us, and we will certainly, you know, give you the permission, because ultimately this also helps our business as well. Okay, very well. I see another question from clients. When you get a chance, can you in general terms talk about the level of success you've been able to achieve in your 20 plus years of consulting career? Okay, let me leave this for the end. Maybe let me first go through the presentation, and then I'll cover this question. So publishing articles and white papers. So it's very easy to set up a blog you know, site. I would say there are many free services which enable this. You can also create these white papers. It's not so hard, you know, you write material in Microsoft Word and then simply convert it into PDF. Make sure it's, I don't know, 5 pages at least, and then you know, publish it as a white paper. And you know, there you go. It's not so hard. And you know, once you have these kind of materials, then you can start doing what you know, I was showing you on LinkedIn, and I mean, in my profile and Andrei's profile. Basically, then you start promoting these kind of materials. Okay, next thing that you could do is actually deliver webinars, as I'm delivering this webinar now. They're very, I would say, powerful because people, you know, can interact with you. They can ask questions, then you answer these questions. This is how you show your expertise. And of course, you are using this again to educate the attendees, but then again, you're also telling them how you can actually help them with your services. And exactly as I'm going to do in this webinar later on, when I show this slide about Advisera's how Advisera can help you. Now, it's always the most important thing that you have to think about how to help. So even though that you are pitching your own product or a service, you have to you know, think about that it needs to help these people that are attending the webinar. As long as this is really helping them, in most cases they won't really mind that you're pitching actually a paid product. Okay, and one thing that I did a lot before, now not so much anymore, is writing a book. Now, you're not going to make money on books. It's yeah, unless you're like Robert Grisham, you know, that sells millions of books. But you know, it's for this kind of let's say B2B purposes. Writing a book is not about making money on books. It's about making your name heard, you know, and making actually building your own reputation, right? Because if potential clients see that you published a kind of couple of books on, I don't know, Amazon, this is something that you know, they will see as a sign of your that you're knowledgeable, right? So you can do this, you know, maybe if you have time. I don't have time lately. This is why I'm not publishing these books anymore. But if you have time, you know, you can take this and write a couple of books and publish them. You can all this do it by yourself. You do not need a publisher. You can go directly and publish it on Amazon. You know, nowadays it's I would say pretty simplified on how this is done. Good. Now let's go for the next slide, and this is about this elevator speech. So what is this really, and why would you use it? So it's basically a short speech where you have to, you know, convince a potential client to buy your services. And basically it's about making a pitch, right? Making a sales point, but it shouldn't be really more than 45 seconds, and hence this is elevator speech. You know, if you are actually in an elevator with a potential client and this ride lasts less than a minute, you know, you need 45 seconds to basically explain what you are selling and why you are, you know, why you are different, and why is it that they need to buy from you, right? And this is something that you actually have to practice up front, because if you didn't really practice up front, then you'll probably get confused in an elevator. So better prepare this short speech in advance, rather than, you know, sound not sure of yourself when you need to be very presentable. Okay, good. Now let me touch a little bit upon the pricing, because this is the question I receive very often. So it's first of all, you should never compete on price. Okay, you should never go with the lowest price, because in most cases, you know, clients are not going to buy from the lowest bidder, especially not if they're from a private sector. Of course, they will, you know, try to actually decrease the price, but, you know, if they have an option to buy from, let's say, three consulting provider, from three consultancies, they will never choose the cheapest one, because they will always you know, consider the cheapest one to be of the least quality. So you should never compete on this end. So instead of decreasing the prices, you have to increase the quality and or let's say amount of services. So for example, let's say that you quoted the price for, let's say, I don't know, $20,000 towards a client, and the client says, we like this, you know, but you are, you know, too high. We have, I don't know, another provider offering us, you know, I don't know, $12,000. Well, basically tell them, okay, go for this guy for 12, but, you know, it's probably going to ultimately cost you more, rather than, you know, taking a more experienced consultant like me. And then, of course, you present what are your skills, specific skills, and specific way of doing things. But what you can actually do then is say, okay, fine, I'm not going to lower this price of 20K, but I can actually include in this price also something else. And then you say, okay, I'm going to introduce also training for your employees that was not quoted initially. So you're keeping the same price, but you're actually adding some more services within your price, so that actually the end client gets more value out of it. And basically this is, you know, these are the techniques on actually not lowering your price, but actually keeping your price as it was. Of course, the more you go towards higher, newer niches, the more higher prices you will achieve. So for example, we as Advisera recently went into this market for DORA. DORA, the Digital Operational Resilience Act. So this is a EU cybersecurity regulation for European financial organizations. And we launched very recently this documentation toolkit for DORA, and we are actually pricing it higher than other toolkits. Why? Because it's completely new. And because it's basically, there is no competition for it. I didn't really see anyone else offering these kind of toolkits in the market. So the point being here, if you want to, let's say, go towards higher prices, you should always try to find new market niches, because especially while you were, let's say, one of the first guys in this market, you will be able to charge higher prices. And of course, the more you customize your service, the more you will actually be able to charge higher prices. So again, going back to the example of this, let's say, second-party auditor for automotive companies, the more you actually adapt this specific way of doing this, let's say, second-party audit, something that other auditors or consultants are not able to do, the more you will be able actually to charge higher prices to this kind of a service. On the opposite end, you know, if you go towards mature markets, like, okay, ISO 9001 with no differentiation, of course you will have to, I mean, you won't be able to charge any reasonable price, because there is a huge amount of consultants offering ISO 9001 and they're competing on price, right? And I mean, there you can only go down with the price, and you know, you can't really earn much money there. Now, there is very often a question, you know, how do you actually create your price? So this is typically done by, you have to define how much your day is worth. Are you charging, I don't know, $1,000 per day, or $500 per day, or $2,000 or $3,000 per day? I'm sure that these consultants, you know, who are, let's say, doing DORA consulting or NIS2 consulting are, you know, going closer to, let's say, 3K per day. Whereas if you are in, you know, generic ISO 9001 markets, it's probably around 500 per day or even lower, right? So it's yeah. Anyway, you need to know your price per day, and then estimate, of course, the number of days which will be needed for the job, and basically this is how you quote the price. Good. Okay. Now, going further with the next slide, and this is about Advisera's program for consultants. And basically what Advisera can, and this is the pitch now, right? This is what I promised you that that will come. But again, I'll try to make it as useful for you. It's something that is always needed in this kind of webinar. So we can actually help you promote your consultancy, and we can do it in 3 ways. First of all, there is this consulting directory, and let me switch the screen. So it looks like this. So we actually sign agreements with our consulting partners and then publish them on this consulting directory. We are not charging anything here, so we're not making any money out of this. But basically, if then someone searches for a consultant for, let's say, for a specific standard in a particular country, then this let's pick some country, I don't know, Australia. Then this marketplace will list you know, all the consultants for a particular standard in a particular area, and you know, this might actually help you get some clients. And yeah, we've sent you now this link in the chat window where you can actually see this consulting directory, how it looks like, and we will also send you later on a link for a meeting with our partner manager, who will then show you, how to sign this agreement and so on. Okay, anyway, going back to my presentation, the second way actually we can help you promote your consultancy is by publishing articles. I'm not sure if you've already seen any articles on Advisera's website. We have more than 1,000 articles published on all possible topics, and we are always open to any new authors. So if you think that you can write something that makes sense, and if you want, the biggest website which we are in this area, you can get in touch with us, and if you're interested in this topic, then we can publish the article under your name, of course. And then at the end of the article, we will publish your short bio together with a link to your LinkedIn profile. And basically, once someone reads the article, if he or she likes it and clicks your LinkedIn profile, then you have a lead for potential clients. Okay, next thing that we can also offer is presenting at the webinars. So we have lots of these webinars. So we are having almost 100 webinars per year. And in some of these webinars, we are also inviting other people to present. So if you want to have, let's say, an extra exposure, get in touch with us, and we can see if this kind of a webinar would be interesting for us. We always are interested in having speakers, presenters, who actually have something new to say. So if you're, let's say, DORA consultant who is dealing with, let's say, this new cybersecurity regulation, if you have some specific way of, implementing DORA, of course, we would very much like to have you as a presenter at the webinar. Or if you are, again, dealing with some specific way of consulting in a particular country, again, this might be a good topic for us. And of course, you would be able to reach a much wider audience. And again, we are not charging anything for these kind of webinars. We only see this as a partnering opportunity for both a consultant and for us to basically promote Advisera, but also this consultancy. Okay, with regards to delivery of service, so basically what we can actually, how we can help consultants deliver their consulting services, we have these documentation toolkits. So let me share the screen now on how this looks like. So as you can see, we have these documentation toolkits for consultants for various standards, NIS2, 27001, 22301, 9001, and so on. So basically these are a set of documents that help you, work with your clients. And this is where we actually sell you this toolkit with a license that actually you can use for your clients as well. So basically these are the specifically made toolkits with the licensing for consultants. There is another thing that we also have, and this is a 𝗂𝗶𝗀𝗶𝘀 product, as I mentioned already during the presentation. So basically it's a product where this ISO 27001 implementation is, I would say, it is done in a much quicker way, because lots of these things like register of requirements, risk register, statement of applicability, they're automated. And then we have a specific version of this 𝗂𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀. It's called 𝗂𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀 for consultants. And this is where actually consultants are able to work with several clients at the same time, which decreases their costs and actually enables them to perform the work much more quickly. So this is also one way to for us actually to help you with your clientele. There are also some other things that are interesting for consultants. There are various courses. So if you are looking to get basically to raise your level of knowledge, but also to get this ability to prove your competence to a potential client, we have all these lead auditor courses, lead implementer courses, data protection officer courses. So lead implementer, lead auditor courses are for all these major ISO standards. Good thing about these courses is they're actually free, and so if you attend the whole course, it's free, but then we charge only for the exam. So if you want only to learn, actually you're not going to pay anything here, only if we go for the exam, and if you want a certificate, this is what we charge. And the last thing I wanted to show is this learning management system, which we call Competent Training Academy. And basically this is a learning management system where we uploaded hundreds of videos, and this is where you can actually use this for your clients to deliver trainings towards them. So if you have, let's say, a client that needs, I don't know, NIS2 training or 27001 training, actually you can use this kind of learning management system to control who sees these videos, to send them reminders, these kind of things. Okay, enough of promoting our product. So basically this is the ways that Advisera can help us, can help you. So let me see. Yeah, okay, I've gone through all of these things. You've received these links through this chat window, and just to mention, if you join the webinar through Advisera website, so through Zoom and through YouTube, you can actually click these links and open them without any problems. However, if you join the webinar through LinkedIn, then you can't click these links that we were sending. You actually have to copy them and paste them into browser, and then they will open because of some limitation of the LinkedIn. But then in any case, we will also I'll also explain you later on how you can actually get to all of these links that we shared today. Good. Now let me briefly go through. Okay, I'll actually skip this next slide because it's we don't have the time for it because I want to use some time for Q&A. So just to conclude, unfortunately, I would say the most difficult part of consulting work is to find clients. And to be successful, again, you need basically two things. First of all, to define your market niche, and also the way to reach potential clients. And of course, for that purpose, you can use various Advisera tools that I've shown you. And now we are going to send you this meeting link where you can schedule a call with our partner manager. And so you can actually discuss all of these various tools and channels on how Advisera can help you. So, feel free to discuss these ideas with him, and he will basically direct you on how we can cooperate. Good. Now let's move on to the next slide, and this is about Q&A. Of course, you can send all questions that you have that you would like me to answer you. And while we are waiting for your questions, let me just go through a couple of things, a couple of notes here. First of all, feel free to reach me directly if you want to ask any question, and we'll send you now this link, this my email address through the chat window now. Yeah, so it's feel free to get in touch directly. So again, if you have some quick idea on how to do a webinar or how to do a blog post, let me know, and I'll try to answer you in a couple of days. Second thing, you can follow me on LinkedIn and YouTube. You'll see now in this chat window the links to these two profiles, so you can study them a little bit on what I'm doing, and you can maybe get some ideas on how to promote your own business by doing a similar thing. And another announcement here is that my next webinar will be next Wednesday, and it will be about how to do ISO 27000 risk management. So if you want to learn, how to list the assets and how to connect these assets to threats and vulnerabilities, how to find the most appropriate controls. So this is what I'll explain next Wednesday. So you will see now these links to actually sign up for these webinars. So feel free to click them, open them, and sign up for anything that you are interested in. Okay, good. Now let me go through questions I received before the webinar. So I see that Shundukani was asking, how can I best support my clients post certification? Of course, if you are acting as, let's say, a consultant for implementation, then your job finishes with, let's say, the implementation and the certification of a client. However, if you are not doing anything for them after their certification, you're basically losing money. Okay, so you should definitely think about on how you can offer your services for, on a continuous basis for them. So you can do, let's say, internal audit for them, because this needs to be done at least once a year. You can do second-party audits if this is something that is interesting for them. You can do regular training or raising awareness for their employees. You can, by the way, use also this Advisera's company training academy for actually training your employees through these various videos. You can also act as let's say fractional CISO or vCISO, right? So CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, if this is a small company, if they do not have enough resources to have, let's say, a full-time CISO and they don't have anyone else who would be, let's say, a part-time CISO, then you can actually be an outsourced CISO for them, and actually, sell them invoices on a monthly basis, right? And so there are various ways where you as a consultant can actually make money, not only from the initial client, from the initial job, but also on a continuous basis. Because ultimately, once you've sold your service to them, you don't have to sell it again. You just have to kind of upsell it, which is much easier, much quicker, much cheaper for you, because you don't have to waste so much time on finding a new client. Okay, good. Let me see questions that I received during the webinar. So, this question from Clint. So, when you get a chance, can you in general terms talk about the level of success you've been able to achieve in your 20% consulting career? So, basically what I learned, back in 2005, I started as, just a consultant. I didn't have a website, nothing like this. And soon I understood that you can't really do, I would say, serious consultant if you're not present on the internet. Back then, social media was not so important, especially not LinkedIn or YouTube as it is now. But back then, we started building this website, and ultimately, I kind of switched careers, and back from let's say 2010, around 2010, I'm not active anymore as a consultant. Basically, we are now, Advisera is in this online business, so we are not selling consulting services. Rather than this, we are helping other consultants become successful, and of course, we are also selling these digital products towards our end clients. So for me personally, the business model has changed because I've seen a bigger opportunity in the internet business. But still, this, I would say, background in consulting, and this, I would say, relationship with consultants is still very important, because I feel that, I can help consultants quite a lot, because I was one of consultants, I was one of you back then. Yeah, and of course, if I can add, the biggest change that is now happening with consulting business and with an online business is this generative AI technology, which will change a lot. When you think about it, these, this ChatGPT and these kind of chatbots are very, very clever, and this definitely demands the change in approach as a consultant, and also as an online company like we are, and adapt. And we're planning to do many new things when it comes to AI. But this is a topic for another webinar, so stay tuned, and we'll certainly let you know what kind of webinars we have on how you can use AI as a consultant to actually be a better consultant and ultimately survive and be able to offer something that is where actually AI cannot do your consulting work. So this is certainly going to be a very interesting topic, and yeah, I'll cover this as well. Okay, let me see some other questions. A question from 𝗥𝗲𝗴𝗶𝘀𝗁. Qualified lead auditor, what are the next steps to be a QMS consultant? Well, if you've gone through this lead auditor course, the next step is to find clients, and you have to follow these steps that I explained in the webinar today. So find a niche, realize what is your, let's say, expertise, find the niche, and then go and specialize and start using these channels to find clients. Okay, Glenn is asking, you mentioned DORA NIS2 pricing at around 3,000 a day and ISO 9001 $500 per day or less. Do you have a ballpark figure for 27001? It's somewhere in between, since 27001 is still a newer standard than 9001. Still, I would say not enough skilled consultants for that, but not as much as DORA or NIS2. Yeah, I hope that this has helped. And of course, be aware that prices are very, very different in different parts of the world. So Western Europe and North America typically have the highest prices. Eastern Europe, lower prices already. I'm not sure about Asia, but it's this really depends on the part of the world where you're in. Okay, great. So we're almost on the top of the hour, so let's wrap up the webinar. Just a few words before I finish. So as I mentioned, this 1 hour webinar was too short to go into details of a particular the implementation of the standard or anything similar to this. And for that purpose, you can attend my other webinars where I go into more details. Regarding the presentation deck, so we'll publish this PDF presentation deck together with all the links in a clickable format on the same page where you joined the webinar if you joined through LinkedIn and YouTube. So in about 10 minutes, you simply leave this tab open in your browser and come back in 10 minutes and you will see these links for downloading the presentation deck and also for these links from the webinar in a clickable format. If you joined through Advisera website, then we will send you an email with the link for the presentation deck. And we'll send this email in about a couple of hours or by latest by tomorrow. Okay, we'll also send you a link to a short survey. So it's a very short link and only 3 questions, and I would really appreciate if you find less than a minute to answer this poll and the survey, and give me the feedback on how you think the webinar went. And this would be all. Thank you very much for your participation, and I hope you have enjoyed this webinar. Have a nice day.